Today's show and the following message are brought to you by Trevitt Hill. Cannabis investors expect big returns from the companies that they invest in. Unfortunately, not all cannabis investments succeed. Trevitt Hill's management team works with investors to help turn around, or in some cases purchase, their underperforming portfolio companies. To learn more, go to trevithill.com.
What's really unique about us is that because our mission is to help our customers learn how to grow every plant better, build that intellectual property, that data on how they're growing all their varieties and leading to maximum yield, we built another system that actually links all the microclimate data to every individual plant that they grow in their facility.
From Bumminett Media, it's the MJBulls podcast, a show about raising cannabis capital. I'm Dan Humiston, and on today's show, how this cannabis technology company is helping cannabis indoor farms be more efficient and remain competitive. Today in the Raising Cannabis Capital series, we are joined by Vince Harkiewicz, CEO and Head of Products at Grownetics. Vince, welcome to the MJBulls podcast.
Dan, it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, Vince, let's start off and let's just talk a little bit about growing cannabis indoors. And you're based in Colorado, so you've witnessed firsthand how this business pretty much has followed the same cycle that most businesses follow. You know, it started off with super high demand and very little supply. So most of the indoor growers were really, really successful because the prices were so high. And then over time, competition started to ramp up and supply caught up with the demand and the prices started to go down. So growers had to become more efficient to compete, which in most cases just meant that they got bigger, which caused more and more supply, and the demand wasn't quite there to meet the supply. And then the prices just kept going down and further down. So let's say today I own a large indoor farm in Colorado. What do I need to do moving forward to maintain a competitive advantage, even to stay in business? What am I going to need to do moving forward?
Yeah, so absolutely. No matter what level you're growing at indoor cannabis, you're going to be dealing with unique sets of problems. And that's because this industry is still really new. And indoor agriculture as a whole is still also pretty new in itself. Thankfully, cannabis growers and the cannabis industry as a whole has been really pioneering solutions for indoor agriculture. And we're seeing a lot of new innovation coming out to serve cannabis growers specifically. And, really that's what we focus on at Grownetics. On the large scale side of things, you'd be looking at automation, whether that's crop logistics automation with automated bench systems that move plants around your facility without having to have people going into all the different cultivation zones, or just having a good idea on the monitoring and the microclimate environments that your plants are growing in. One of the biggest challenges we see in large cultivations, especially over 30, 40,000 square feet, is a lack of quality control tools. Once you start to get up to that scale and you're growing in a traditional tomato greenhouse, the lack of microclimate control tends to end up leading to major issues in the quality of product. Most of the greenhouses over 40,000 square feet that I've heard of in Colorado, even over 100,000 square feet, all suffer for some kind of major quality issues. And that's because greenhouses weren't designed to grow cannabis, which is essentially a little bush or a little tree, which really disrupts the airflow model of these buildings. Now, if you're a large indoor grower, you do have quite a bit of microclimate controllability, but you're still dealing with this challenge of wanting to do clean room cultivation at large scale. And that's really what everybody should be striving towards, is this clean room mentality, this clean room style of cultivation, no matter what scale you're at. So tools that we can bring to bear that support our customers in doing that and having less people, that's going to be key to success moving forward.
Yeah, it sounds like it's an investment that indoor farms are going to have to make in order to stay competitive. It's this investment in technology. It's an investment in understanding data. And that's kind of where you guys come in. Tell us more about Grownetics and exactly what you do.
Grownetics was founded to help our customers learn how to grow every plant they're growing better after just one harvest. Over the years, in order to do that, we've developed unique microclimate mapping technology that gives our customers an indoor weather map of their grow facilities. So just deploying that immediately gives them visibility into every aspect of their indoor environment. And then adding on top of that integration with control systems, whether that's directly just adding our sensor inputs to the HVAC systems already deployed, or deploying our own Grownetics control systems for indoor or greenhouse facilities. Immediately, because we're actually measuring the microclimates in the canopy, those controls become much more accurate, which on its own leads to greater quality, increase in yield, and a better quality plant. So that's really the foundation of Grownetics. Now, what's really unique about us is that because our mission is to help our customers learn how to grow every plant better, build that intellectual property, that data on how they're growing all their varieties and leading to maximum yield, we built another system that actually links all the microclimate data to every individual plant that they grow in their facility. Now, all of a sudden, we have this incredibly powerful crop analytics tool that, again, just after one harvest of 100 plants, we have 100 little experiments to compare.
Oh my gosh. So in other words, if I have 2 or 3 plants that are world class, I can look and see exactly what the climate that they were in and what changes we made to that harvest. They have all that information available to them.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy. That would be so helpful because once you nail it, then you just keep replicating it.
Exactly right. And so that's the next piece. And one thing I didn't mention is that we're also bringing in workflow and SOP management into this equation. And that's because we realize that this is still agriculture. This is still people and plants. And how we interact, how we cultivate these plants is going to influence their quality and their yield. So we all know if you defoliate at certain times or top the plant in certain ways, that changes the growth of the plant, that changes the potential yield of the plant. So understanding not only the environment and the feeds, but also when tasks are done to plants, those are really the key metrics that we need to be gathering to understand what's leading to success or failure.
I mean, initially, I would say most people were thinking that when the laws change and the indoor farms are competing against the outdoor farms, they start right off at a disadvantage. But if they use technology like what you can provide, they may not be at a disadvantage. They may be at an advantage.
I would absolutely say indoor cultivation is going to be the trend we see in farming as a whole. With the new farm bill passing, the government's recognized not only, of course, that hemp needs to be federally legalized, but also that indoor agriculture as a whole is a field that's growing quickly. And what we can do in indoor growing is we don't have to use pesticides. We don't have to use toxic chemicals that you have to use when you're outside. And so if you're trying to grow the highest quality medicine or the highest quality and nutritious food, you're going to be doing it indoors.
I want to take a minute to tell everyone about an exciting free opportunity that one of our former guests, Good Harvest Company, is offering retail operators and cannabis brand managers in the adult use market. Good Harvest Company is preparing to launch their platform, which uses customers' buying and shopping behaviors to help brands effectively reach their customers. And for a limited time, Good Harvest Company will offer participating companies free access to their data in return for their feedback. To learn more, go to goodharvest.co. Well, and Grownetics is essentially the operating system that runs these facilities.
Exactly right. We recognized in the beginning there was no operating system for indoor farmers, which is kind of absurd to think about how long we've been growing plants and there aren't these tools. And until the cannabis industry came along and really kickstarted indoor farming, there wasn't a lot of investment or research going into indoor cultivation for all these different crops. But now, thankfully, because of this industry, best botanists in the world are cannabis growers, and they're passionate about innovation. But they haven't had these tools that they need to just do their job. And so building an operating system for indoor growers is really another big inspiration for this company. You know, we're not going to get to toil away a lean production system in farming unless we have these tools and we're measuring these KPIs.
Well, it sounds like you've done all the heavy lifting, getting all the R&D and everything in place. I mean, we didn't even talk about how you work with different company sensors. You have your own sensors. We didn't even have a chance to get into that yet, but let's jump forward. Now that all this is in place, you see the trend heading this direction where indoor farms, it's necessary for them to get more technology within their farms. What do you guys need to do to prepare for this inevitable demand? What do you need to do next?
That's a great question. And we've thought really long and hard about exactly that. How do we help to actually realize this transition into this new way of farming that we know is possible? What's happened is we've essentially evolved to offer turnkey smart farming solutions. So beyond still doing our, deploying our operating system for customers, doing custom facility design, we're really going towards being able to deploy from top to bottom what are the most advanced and efficient technologies available to our customers. And then Grownetics as the operating system to tie it all together to allow them to take whatever site or whatever cultivars that they're growing and optimize them every single harvest. Obviously, this is a large endeavor, but demand has also been incredibly high. As cultivators are, on average, the square footage of cultivation facilities are getting much larger. They are reaching out to us because they recognize there are not operating tools to do specifically this in indoor farming. Some of the biggest tech companies in the world, one that has 3 letters in its name, has reached out to us to support them with some of the largest LPs in Canada. We're talking about facilities that are over 800,000 square feet, and there are not tools available to them except Grownetics to be able to do the microclimate monitoring, to do the crop analytics at that scale. And we've really focused from day one on large enterprise cultivations because that's where the real challenges are yet to be solved.
But so you are in the process of raising money. So if investors were interested in getting involved, tell us a little bit about the raise and how they can participate.
We'll be a preferred equity raise. We did a seed note round to get this company off the ground, to build the technology, but now it's out of R&D and we're into commercialization. So definitely a good time to get a great deal.
Oh, for sure. Well, we've been speaking with Vince Harkiewicz, the CEO and head of products at Grownetics. We'll have all the information on the MJBulls website. Vince, thanks for being on the show today. This is it's really exciting stuff.
Dan, it's my pleasure. I really enjoy the guests you have on the show, and I really appreciate you giving me a platform to share what we're doing with your audience.
Well, keep it up and let's do it again, okay?
Yeah, that'd be great. We're looking forward to sharing our developments with you over the years.
Sounds good. Good luck. Just a quick reminder that you can become an MJBulls member for just $4.99 per month and enjoy exclusive access to companies' pitch decks and the MJBulls Cannabis Capital directory. Join today at MJBulls.com. Thanks for listening to the MJBulls podcast. To learn more about today's guest or to become a guest, visit our website at MJBulls.com. Today's show was produced by Bumminit Media with original music composed by Jamie Humiston. I'm Dan Humiston, and you've been listening to the MJBulls podcast.